Zip up your members-only jacket, crack open a tab, and pause your Walkman as we bring you to the 1980s.
Welcome to the 80s Show podcast, where we talk about all things 1980s, from movies to TV shows, music and stars, fads and fashions. We'll talk about anything and everything to do with the 1980s.
The 1980s, the best decade in decades.
That's right, Damien. Alongside my friend Damien Raffelli, my name is Bill Lassiter. Welcome to the 80s Show podcast. We're glad that you tagged along in this episode. You can always hit us up on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, all that, or you can email us at 80showpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And Damien, we got an exciting show today, right?
We have an absolutely exciting show, the best of the best. This might be our best show ever.
I agree. Three great topics that I can't wait to talk about. So first, we're going to start off with our favorite 1980s Spielberg movies. And that would be Steven Spielberg.
That would be, not Jim Spielberg, who listens to our podcast regularly.
Yes, he gives us.
He's no relation to Steven Spielberg, but he does have a lot of movie ideas.
That's right. So what are we going to follow up that with?
So after that, we're going to talk about 80s fashion. You know, we're fashionistas here.
Oh, we are. Actually, I will say, Damien is wearing a Golden Girls t-shirt right now as we speak.
I am, actually. Thank you, Fred. This is my birthday yesterday, and Bill got me a Golden Girls t-shirt, which I'm looking at right now. It's got a...
It's distracting me. The four ladies are on there. It's really distracting me to do this podcast.
And the sad thing is I'm actually much older than they were in the 80s. I just turned 52 yesterday.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you're that much older. But and hey, we're going to finish it up with some Saturday morning cartoon talk, Damien. I'm excited about that.
That's right. And, you know, speaking of getting older and just doing this podcast, my nephew Ron listens to this. He's a Gen Xer, actually Gen Zer. Gen Z. And he said we sound the same. He has difficulty.
Oh, really?
He's my own nephew. His difficulty deciphering our voices. Do you think we sound alike?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we're very distinct. I mean, I'm the sexy voice, and you're the other one.
I'm the deep,
sexy
voice.
There we go.
From the 80s. You know, we have known each other for a long time, so maybe at a certain point we do start to sound the same. But
it could be.
I am Damien Raffelli. The more intelligent one of the two.
Well, debatable. Anyway,
you can be the good-looking one if you want to be.
I'll take it. All
right.
So we do have, as we have done previous episodes, we do have some error and omissions, Damien, on this to set the record straight. Do you want me to do the first one? Because it was your error, David.
I have a lot of errors on this show. Okay, let's just say it.
So Damien said he thought that the rank of captain was just above lieutenant, like in the Army. However, the Navy military ranks are different than other branches of the military. And the Navy, the rank of captain is similar to the rank of colonel in other branches. It's just below the rear admiral in the Navy. And so you really screwed that up.
So I have to apologize to Maverick and
apologize to Maverick. And
so Maverick was a little bit, higher in rank than I thought. He was closer to a rear admiral. And I'm apologizing to Maverick, not to Tom Cruise, because but because he's actually much higher than admiral in Scientology. Yeah. I think he is like a god at this point.
I think so too. But hey, he's still a Maverick though in the movie. Like give whatever rank he is, but he's still a Maverick, right?
That should be an official rank in the Navy, I think. Maverick.
Yeah. And so also, Damien also kind of crapped on Tony Scott, the director of Top Gun, saying that this was the only project that he really did.
It was his first good project. That's what I should have mentioned. Okay. But yeah, I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. Even though we did research that, I had forgotten. I was obsessed with the movie he had done before that.
Yeah. You were obsessed with the documentary that you saw on the making of Top Gun.
Yeah, no, I was obsessed with the erotic thriller he did before that with a certain pop star. But so Tony Scott, my apologies to Tony Scott. He actually has passed away.
Yeah, he can't hear us. So.
Yes, and on the grave. He's also posthumously receiving a star on the Walk of Fame.
Oh, wow. Which, the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Yeah, Hollywood Walk of Fame, and not just for
sure if that was,
and not just for Top Gun, but apparently, I was a little bit wrong. He did direct a few other popular movies that we saw, not just in the 80s, but other ones. But we'll mention a few, the 80s, 90s. Enemy of the State. I actually will love that movie. Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Great fan. And I guess Will Smith was in it too. Crimson Tide, another
also
great
Gene
classic.
Hackman.
Yeah, another great classic movie, and R.I.P. for Gene Hackman as well. True Romance, we got Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Love Christian Slater. And another, we got another Tom Cruise joint, Days of Thunder.
Okay, another Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Okay, well, so he wasn't as crappy as you said he was. Wow, I can't believe you really crapped on him like that, Damien.
Yeah, I'm going to go lay a candle on his star at the Walk of Fame next week. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, so Damien also said, this is the crack research we do here at the 80 Show podcast. Damien also said that he thought the budget for Three Amigos was lower than Iron Eagle, which in fact it was over 2 times the budget, with $25 million in 1980s dollars. It kind of makes sense. You have 3 big stars from the 80s in that. Of course, the budget's going to be a little bit bigger than Call Sign Doug.
So, I should be forgiven for this because it's embarrassing that Three Amigos finished below Iron Eagle.
I cannot believe that.
They had a $25 million budget against a $10 million budget. That is not my fault.
Yeah, but I would say this. How many times have you seen Three Amigos since you saw it in the theater versus Iron Eagle? Like, I've seen Three Amigos, once every couple of years, probably.
I love it. I own it. I'm a big fan. Did I ever tell about the time I met Martin Short?
Oh, boy. Yes, Damien. I think you've shared that on this podcast before. So, all
right. That was a great movie. Much better than Iron Eagle. It still stands up compared to Iron Eagle.
Crazy.
I'll say that.
It's crazy. And hey, from our previous episode about Iron Eagle, if you haven't seen it, that's all I can say. If you haven't seen it, good for you. Like,
just watch Three Amigos instead. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some other 80s news in the news. Damien mentioned previously that Tony Scott was getting a star on the Walk of Fame. But who else is going to be getting a star on the Walk of Fame?
Another 80s classic actor, Molly Ringwald.
Oh, I'm surprised.
John Hughes.
Yeah. I'm surprised she doesn't have one already, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was actually shocked by that. Yeah.
Because, there's some people on the Walk of Fame that I'm like, huh?
Who? Yeah.
I'm not going to say, but anyway, I was on the other side of the world recently, and Damien sent me an article or a video, an article about something that happened in the news with one of our beloved 1980s actors, Martin Kove, who actually I'm not really sure how to say his last name, but we know him as Kreese from Karate Kid 2, and the Cobra Kai series. So, Damien, what's the controversy with this guy?
So, yeah, you were in Kenya, and you were doing some good works in Kenya. Unfortunately, at the same time, Martin Kove, he bit first the stroke card. Stroke card, I'm not sure. He's a little bit out of his mind. And so the actor Alicia Han Kim, who played Kim Da-eun, I can't even say the right name, but she was the protege of the Korean martial arts. Yes, yeah. So, and that was Kreese's that was his master, and she was the protege, and she came back in Cobra Kai. And in real life, the actor, they were at a show, like I don't know, it was a Comic-Con or an 80s show.
Like one of those, yeah.
Yeah, and he bit her on the arm, and bit her hard, left a mark on her arm. It was all over social media, and he was eventually apologized, and the police got involved, and apparently it's not okay just to... In the 80s, that would have been fine, right?
I don't know.
You could have gotten away with that. It's wrong, but you could have gotten away with it. Been okay.
And I did see the video, and there is a mark on her arm from him biting her, which is pretty crazy. So, you see Kreese on the street, just back off. You don't know if you're going to get karate kicked in the face or bit on the arm, right? So another episode that we talked about a few episodes ago, talked about Scarface. So the Scarface mansion is up for sale right now, Damien.
Yeah, it's a bargain, $40 million.
Yeah, right there on Miami Beach, right?
Yeah, there's only like about, I could say John Delury could have financed that with the cocaine he had when he got busted. Yeah, it's probably like about 20 kilos of cocaine. And the weird thing, though, that's actually Montecito, which is near Santa Barbara. It was. You
mean that was not in the mean streets of Miami?
Yeah, I'm a little shocked at that. I'm a little disappointed that was not actually in Miami, because you can't have a cocaine palace in Santa Barbara. That doesn't work. That's wine territory right there.
I know some actors, Charlie Sheen. Anyway, who live in Santa Barbara. But hey, so if you have $40 million, lying next to you, you want to buy a mansion, actually, better to sponsor an up-and-coming podcast like the A Show podcast, and then go find your mansion.
That's right. And, if you want some wine, we have a friend that's opening wine bar soon, and we're going to probably do a podcast episode from there when he opens that.
That's right.
Because that's where we're going to drink our wine and maybe some...
Damien, we are too...
Scarface.
Damien, I should be wearing my Dare shirt right now, but Damien, we're too old for that. Like, that's a heart attack waiting to happen for us, guys.
It is, we're too old to... We're getting way...
I'm
getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, and it's wrong.
And we do have some sad news, too. Some more sad Disney news. This is unfortunate. I'm actually a little bit upset about this one.
You are?
I'm very upset. No, I'm very upset about this.
All right, go for
it. Disney, they ruin a lot of stuff, right? They've ruined Star Wars. They've driven Marvel into the ground. And now they're actually trying to reboot Indiana Jones. I'm not okay with that.
Now, here's the deal, Damien. We are going to be talking about some of the Indiana Jones movies later on this program, but I will say this. It was the last two Indiana Jones movies, Dial of Destiny and Crystal Skull, were not stellar, right? And they were not Disney, so maybe, who knows? Be positive about this, Damien.
Yeah. I'm thinking Shia LaBeouf is going to be the new Indiana Jones, and that's not going to be okay with me. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. No, I'm not okay. But no, the rumor is that it's going to be Chris Evans or Glenn Powell. I'm not okay with Chris Evans either. He's not the best Marvel actor, first of all. And he's fun as Captain America and, whatever, the Fantastic Four and whatever he's done.
But Glenn Powell, I would say,
he's a better actor.
Has that snarky Indiana Jones type demeanor and stuff. I would be okay with it. Just depends on what they do with it.
I'd be better okay with Glenn Powell. He was also in Top Gun Maverick, of course.
Right.
Did you know he was supposed to play Rooster originally?
Yeah, I did see that. And then the part went to Miles Teller, and then
but they Tom Cruise actually said Glenn Powell could not grow a good enough mustache.
Well, hey, Andy doesn't have a mustache. It's a good thing he's not doing a Magnum PI reboot, because he wouldn't be able to do that. But anyway, so there's some 80s news in the news right now, I guess. And now, Damien, I'm excited right now because we have a new sponsor here on the 80s Show podcast. And believe it or not, Damien, I've driven one of these. I owned one of these back in the day.
This is a big-time sponsor.
Yeah, big-time sponsor. The Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Introducing the all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. Four-wheel disc brakes, a multi-port fuel-injected V6 engine, four-wheel independent suspension, an aerodynamic style even the wind can't resist. In short, the new Cutlass Supreme is not your father's Oldsmobile.
Next up, we're going to be talking about the what we consider the best directed Spielberg movies of the 1980s.
Yeah, that's right, Damien. Now, Spielberg was involved in a bunch of movies in the 1980s, but these are specifically the ones that he directed in the 1980s. Of course, one of the most prolific movie directors of all time. Just so many great movies. But let's kick it off by talking about the ones from the 1980s. And so first off, from 1981, 1984, 1989 was the Indiana Jones. I mean, this was a trilogy until 2008, I think, is when the next movie came out or whatever. But,
Crystal Skulls. We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade, all Spielberg directed films. And let's just talk a little bit about that. So, first of all, Indiana Jones was a great character. Wouldn't you agree, Damien?
This was the first movie I watched on VHS tape.
Oh, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I remember this. So my dad played softball with a lot of friends, and they were all much younger too, because my dad was much younger. My parents were very young when they had me. And I was probably, 8 years old. I have no idea how old I was, but I was very young. And, VHS tapes and VHS
Players,
players they were pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And they had one friend that was like a single guy, young guy, that made a lot of money. Yeah. And he had one. And we all went over, like a bunch of us, the players and the kids went over after one of the games and watched us. And I was like enthralled seeing this on a TV.
Yeah.
With a VHS.
On that big 22-inch TV.
Exactly.
Which you thought was huge, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Like 420.
Yeah.
TP, whatever it was. And but I was just enthralled. I mean, just the opening scene of Raiders of the Ark, that just got me right there as a kid.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a great movie. It was actually the number one movie in 1981, Damien.
Well, I believe that.
Raked in, almost $400 million worldwide, which 1980s dollars is crazy. And it introduced us to Indiana Jones. He's this rugged, handsome dude. I thought, Harrison Ford basically played the same character. I think Han Solo and Indiana Jones are the same character. They're just in different eras, basically. Kind of badasses, and of course, when the bad guys are Nazis, it's going to be a great movie, right? It's going to be great. So
who doesn't love a bad guy if there's a Nazi? Because they're all bad guys, right?
They're all bad guys. They're all bad guys.
Where shall I find a new adversary so close to my own level?
Try the local sewer.
And then that brings us in 1984, came out Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Which was okay.
It's okay. Now, he did...
He brought the kid from Goonies in there, too.
Yeah. And I guess Kate Capshaw was it. That's who he ended up married to. So I think that, probably one of his personal best films just because he met his wife on the, or whatever. And yeah, I do believe Short Round was the MVP of that movie. Call him Dr. Jones.
Hey, lady, you call him Dr. Jones.
My professional name.
And he's making a comeback too. The actor who did that,
he is.
He's in some new movies right now. So,
so the other thing was it was super intense, and in fact, Steven Spielberg said that he made Last Crusade as kind of an apology for how dark Temple of Doom was. I don't remember, like the scene that still haunts me to this day is when he Mullah Khan reaches into some guy's chest and pulls out a still beating heart as like a human sacrifice, and that still gives me nightmares today.
That was crazy. It reminds me of Jim Carrey doing that in his movie.
Oh yes. The
Dumb and Dumber.
No, it was Dumb and Dumber. Or
it was Dumb and Dumber. Yeah.
Okay.
And he pulls out the guy's heart. Yeah, it was a spoof of that. But I will say, The Last Crusade was one of my favorite movies. Sean Connery. I love Sean Connery too. Right.
Absolutely.
Of course, 007, all that.
He who finds the Grail must face the final challenge.
What final challenge?
3 devices of such lethal cunning.
Booby traps?
Oh yes.
Again, my favorite movie would be Lost Ark of the 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I would say Last Crusade was up there, right there with Lost Ark. So.
Yeah, and let's not forget, enemy again is Nazis. So everybody can unite behind that. And don't forget, there was a young River Phoenix, playing young Indiana Jones in that movie. Who he did a great job of that. Explains why he's got the scar on the chin and stuff like that. And we find out that Indiana was the dog's name. It's just a great all around movie. It had heart. It had action. It was just it had some dude waiting in a cave for 700 years for people to come around. And it's the reason why I don't choose a fancy cup anywhere I go, Damien, from that movie.
You got to have the simple cup. There's the wooden cup, the plain cup.
That's right.
You have chosen wisely.
Do you think River Phoenix would have been in instead of Shia LaBeouf? And do you think if he hadn't passed away? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, he. I mean, yeah, because he was. They were
setting him up, right?
They were setting him up to do that, and it's just unfortunate what happened to him. But that's life, I guess. So
Shia LaBeouf is a good actor, but I think River Phoenix would have been better in that role.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix. What if that would have been kind of interesting?
Oh, that would have been interesting too. Yeah.
But anyway, so moving on from the Indy franchise, another mega hit for Spielberg in 1982 was for me, this is my favorite Spielberg movie in the 80s. Was E.T. the Extraterrestrial. And I think for me, it's just more of like, I just have fond memories. I remember seeing this movie in the theater 5 times in the movie theater. It was the number one movie in all of the 1980s. Made more money than any other movie in the 1980s.
I'll be right here.
It was one of the most classic movies of the 80s. And I remember watching this for the first time as a young child in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Again, I was an East Coast kid. And oh my God, that movie was amazing. And I actually looked like a young Elliot. I was very...
I could see that.
If you look at some of my pictures from when I was a kid, I looked a lot like Elliot.
I could definitely see that, man.
It was a little nerdy.
Bowl cut,
a little nerdy.
Just kidding.
I was not a handsome child, but,
yeah.
I did actually look a lot like Elliot.
Yeah, it's funny because that movie was obviously filmed in around Southern California, and it totally reminded me of growing up where I grew up, because you would ride your bikes through these housing lots that haven't been built yet, and they would hang out there, and I used to hang out there and stuff, and then of course Drew Barrymore was, we know that's my all-time crush, Hollywood crush is Drew Barrymore.
A bald monkey? Is he a pig? He sure eats like one.
She's had an amazing career since then, right? I mean, now she's doing, I guess, a talk show or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's had an amazing career since then.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Married to the famous Tom Green.
He did. She did. She was married to Tom Green for a while. That's true. And of course, a couple episodes ago, Damien gave me some Reese's Pieces, as an homage to E.T. the Extraterrestrial. There was, did you ever go to Universal Studios when there was an E.T. ride? There used to be an E.T. ride at Universal Studios.
I didn't, but can we go back to Indiana Jones? Do you remember we're in college, right?
Oh, yes.
So we had both because we both went to college in Southern California, Orange County, and we had passes at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And we went to the original Indiana Jones ride when they were still building it.
Yeah, we went, they had like a sneak peek, and all you could do was just walk through the line. That was it.
And there was a few times that they were supposedly opening the ride, but the ride was broken. Yeah. And you'd wait in line for like 2 hours, but we were some of the first people eventually that were on that ride.
Is that why you're worried about Disney touching the Indiana Jones franchise?
Exactly.
You have memories of waiting in line for a long time for the ride. Oh,
yeah, it's a little PTSD from that, but it was a great ride.
I get it.
It was very cool.
So I got a trivia question for you, Damon. See if you know this. So E.T. was the the highest grossing film of all time until another Spielberg hit came.
I would say Schindler's List, but that doesn't seem right.
I never saw Schindler's List in the theater. I saw it on...
That was 90s, though. Is it 80s?
It's 90s. It's a 90s movie, but I'm just saying, like this...
Titanic?
No, he wasn't.
No, that wasn't
Cameron.
Oh, that was Cameron. Sorry.
I think Titanic's probably number one now, but I'll give you a hint. There's a sequel out right now. Dinosaurs?
Jurassic Park.
Yes, Jurassic Park in 93 broke E.T.'s. Okay. So, think about that. Spielberg, dude.
I'm not a big Jurassic Park fan, but
making money hand over fist, right? That's crazy.
I don't go to the movies anymore. I just only watch 80s stuff. So I don't. If there's anything after the 80s, I don't watch it anymore.
I know, but there's some. Cause you saw Maverick. You saw Top Gun Maverick.
Well, that's connected to the 80s. That's different.
Yeah. Anyway, you're staying true to the 1980s.
All right, so let's go to something a little bit more serious.
Okay.
So E.T. I mean, all of us, amazing movie.
Yeah.
We realized aliens are real. Right? No, come on.
Okay.
We got a Speak and Spell, which we are covered earlier. Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
And you've got the E.T. sequel coming up. You covered that earlier.
Yeah.
So we know that was a serious, very serious movie, but let's go into something a little bit more serious historically.
The Color Purple. So 1985, The Color Purple, starring kind of a up-and-coming actress, Whoopi Goldberg. Danny Glover, which we covered on Lethal Weapon. I talked about Lethal Weapon a couple episodes ago. Oprah is in this movie. And yeah, it's definitely an emotional drama. It was kind of outside of what Spielberg was known for at the time.
Yeah, very different at the time.
Very different for him, right? The crazy thing was it was nominated for 11 Academy Awards, Damien.
And it should have been. And it's amazing that what happened.
Yeah, and they won exactly 0 Academy Awards, which is crazy, right?
That's just wrong. I mean, I really believe that's wrong. There was an amazing, good movie. despite Whoopi Goldberg, which she's not a very good actress.
All right. Well, it's her first
what was
movie.
that nun movie she was in? That was like
Sister Act. Oh, you don't like Sister
so
Act? Oh my gosh, you're a hater.
I'm not a Whoopi Goldberg fan, but that Color Purple was a very good. That was
it's
a very good movie.
Very good movie about a woman who survives abuse and loss, and she's it's just an emotional drama.
I can't believe it was nominated for 11 awards. It didn't win anything.
Didn't win one thing. So
80s racism. Excuse me.
So it could be. I mean, it really is. So now there were other these are kind of honorable mentions.
Well, he was a producer, not. So we talked about being a director earlier. So that's why we're going to say honorable mentions. He was like involved, but not a director.
Right. And so some very, famous, I would even say iconic 80s movies.
Have I heard of any of these before?
Well, let me see. Have you heard of Gremlins?
That one sounds a little bit familiar. I think I've mentioned the Gremlins.
Have you heard of Back to the Future?
That one seems familiar as well. Like,
have you heard of the Goonies?
Oh God, that seems also like
And I know you sing the song all the time from An American Tail.
I'm not a big fan of that, but but I mean, obviously, Gremlins, Back to the Future, Goonies were just amazing movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they also represent the '80s, and we're also talking about some sequels here in the 2020s. For Gremlins and Goonies as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we'll see if that's going to happen.
That would be great. It would be great if, Spielberg's attached. I know Spielberg is supposed to be attached to the Goonies project. I don't know if he's going to be directing it or not, but yeah. So I mean, Spielberg is just the quintessential 1980s film director. I think it's great. It's just looking back on this list, Damien, that the three main Indiana Jones movies were all in the 80s. The first one, 81, the last one, 89. Like, that's just awesome. That's just...
Yeah, they were all really good. I mean, obviously, they were all great. And thank God Crystal Skull was not in the 80s. But
yeah.
So what do you think... I'm just going to ask you one thing. What do you think about a Back to the Future sequel or prequel? I'm not a big fan of bringing that back. And they're not talking about it yet. But
yeah, I don't... I think it's standalone. I think if they did anything, they would probably do a remake, which I would not be a fan of. But who knows what's going to happen.
Because I don't think bring Michael J. Fox back, and But that would be unfortunate. I really think that franchise was perfect the way it is. Well, except for maybe the third movie. But again, it's like Godfather 3. It's like it's there, but it's not going to ruin the franchise, right?
Yeah. Their thing is a few years ago or a couple years ago, maybe like a year ago, I went to Hollywood Bowl and saw John Williams conduct the LA's symphony and doing a lot of his music. Him and Spielberg collaborated on so many movie soundtracks that we know. He did Indiana Jones. I mean, obviously he did Star Wars. He did E.T. He did Jurassic Park. So John Williams and John Williams and Steven Spielberg were really kind of hand in hand with movie success and things like that, which I thought that was pretty cool to see. And then actually Spielberg came out on stage to say hi to John Williams. It was a really cool moment.
I think there's like one or two movies that John Williams did not do for Spielberg.
Right? Yeah. So anyway, so we would love to hear from you, our listeners. We'd love to hear from you. What is your favorite Steven Spielberg film from the 1980s? You can hit us up on all the socials
or even beyond. We love the 80s, but
just
tell us what you love about Spielberg.
Absolutely,
he's been done a bunch of movies since then, and
so you can hit us up at 80showpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Next up on the 80 Show Podcast, we're going to be talking about 1980s fashion and some of the top 1980s fashion trends. And Damien, you're a sharp dressed man, and I know you're going to be giving your 2 cents here.
So we cannot talk about the 80s without talking about shoulder pads.
Shoulder pads, yes. Both men and women. I think it's more prevalent on women, but you're right. We were talking about this before this segment started, and there was shoulder pads and some of the things that we had when we were younger, right, Damien?
Oh my God, are you talking about everything that was in the 80s? I had suit jacket. It was Miami Vice jacket, actually. It was a white suit jacket that had the shoulder pads in it. Come on.
Absolutely.
That was so sweet.
Well, I just remember we both had Miami Vice style jackets, and I remember going, what is this like here? I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. Made me feel like a, linebacker or something, right? And then obviously the 80s brought rise to the working woman, and shows like Dynasty and movie Working Girl, Joan Collins, literally, every 80s woman, I'm pretty sure I remember my mom's like blouses having the big shoulder pads and stuff like that. And every woman who wanted to mean business wore something with shoulder pads in it, right?
I think it was back then, it's just not men can have the power, women can have the power too.
Yeah.
There was like shoulders, like your power, like you're like strong, and we can both have the power.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see that very often. You don't see that anymore, though, Damien. The shoulder pads.
Well, yeah.
But
we've all lost the power.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, number one. This is not in any order, but number one, shoulder pads in outfits. So another thing that became a trend, Damien, was the old parachute pants. Did you have parachute pants, Damien?
I did. I loved parachute pants.
Yeah.
I loved the fabric. I loved the zippers. I loved everything about parachute pants. I did in the 80s. I loved parachute pants. And they did not last long enough. They were more early 80s. And I wish I'd lived much longer because I want some parachute pants right now, bro. If I could find them right now, I would wear them right now.
Yeah. And, this was like, I remember breakdancing became big in the 80s, and I remember like I had to get parachute pants because I thought that was the key to being good at breakdancing. Turns out, no, that's not the key. You have to have some sort of style and rhythm, which I did not have. But
so parachute pants don't make you good at being dancing and breakdancing.
No. I mean, in your head maybe, but it's just It didn't make you a great dancer, but I wore them proudly, and I just remember I had a pair that were kind of aqua green, like, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah. And the thing, they were comfortable. That was the other thing. Yeah. It was like they were airy, they were comfortable, and so like people wore them all the time, and didn't really care what people thought. I'm sure we've probably both got pictures of ourselves in parachute pants at some point. Just look horrible in them. But hey, we loved them. We loved them, right, Damien?
Dude, if I could get some right now, I would buy them right now. I've actually looked for them recently, and I can't find them. If anybody knows where you can find it, we can buy some parachute pants. Hit us up on Gmail.
On all the socials,
because I want some right now.
Oh yeah. So the next fashion look that we're gonna talk about, which is one that I never understood, Damien, leg warmers. Okay, basically, this was just knit tubes of fabric worn around the calves. That's it. Just to put on the calves, Damien.
So you know what? I loved aerobics in the 80s. And do you remember
you love watching aerobics in the 80s?
Do you remember just being able to watch that on TV and be doing aerobics and the leg warmers?
Oh, yeah.
And these just, like Jane Fonda, these gorgeous women just bending over and just doing aerobics.
I don't think you were looking at the leg warmers, though, Damien.
But there were leg warmers.
There were leg warmers on the calves. I don't think you were looking at the calves, right?
But
it's just so, to me, it's just like such a weird thing to just put them on your calves. Like, why that?
I'm just thinking about aerobics.
Okay,
Jane Fonda and
think about Jane Fonda and Olivia Newton-John and physical. Let's get physical.
I will say that was awesome to watch, and hey, you're getting in great shape at the same time.
I guess so.
My calves are still amazing right now. Look at my calves right now. Look at how great they are. I don't need leg warmers to hide these things.
That's the thing, right? You got your leg warmers for hiding that stuff. So anyway, leg warmers is one of ours fashion items from the 80s. Okay, next one, which I know you and I both had.
Oh, stop right now.
Members only jackets.
I had a great gray.
I did.
It was
too.
great. It was great.
Yeah.
It had the epaulets right here on the shoulders, right?
Absolutely.
I know we're on the podcast. We can't touch my shoulders, but epaulets and those members only jackets were the coolest thing.
I know. It was.
And now they look dorky, but I need to find one now because I'll wear it.
I'd wear it.
I dare somebody to tell me it looks dorky right now. I'm gonna wear it right now. I'm gonna dare somebody to tell me it looks dorky.
I think it'd be funny if you wore it right now to the beach when it's 85 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But so the members only jacket, I never understood what members only meant, but I wanted to be part of it.
Hey,
right?
It's members only.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But the member is only if you buy the jacket.
Yeah, but everyone had one too, right? So
it's not that hard to be a member.
Right.
Oh, wait. So it's not that hard to be a member?
Yeah,
you just have to buy the jacket?
I mean, it's the most exclusive club with 100% acceptance rate, basically, members only jacket. So, we definitely sported the members only jackets back in the 80s. That's funny. I had a gray one. I think they were like, maybe they had mass produced a gray one because I feel like that's what everybody.
No, I totally had a gray one.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah.
So another 80s fashion item that was worn in the 1980s is the good old acid washed jeans. They would make them like look a little beaten up, and I remember buying some acid wash jeans for the first time, thinking I was so cool, and then realizing I could have spent half the money throwing some bleach in the washer, and just made the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It was everywhere in the 1980s, the acid wash jeans. And I always thought it just sounded, when they labeled it acid wash jeans, just sounded cooler, not just accidental bleach jeans. Like that wouldn't have sold, right?
Cool kids wore that, right?
Yeah. Well, I tried.
Some metalheads, preps, prunks, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So, anyway, so we would love to hear from you, our listeners. And the question that we want you to answer is, which 80s fashion trend needs to make a comeback? It doesn't have to be any of the 5 that we just mentioned, but we would love to hear from you. Which 80s fashion trend needs to make a comeback? Now, we just said we would wear half these things. Today we would wear a members only jacket. We would wear parachute pants. Today, Damien. But yeah, I want to hear from them. What do they think should make an 80s or make a comeback?
So my vote's going to be parachute pants. That's my vote.
Yeah, because they're so comfortable. I get it. So
get a lot of breeze on your huevos.
Yeah.
Got some good air.
There you go.
Comfort.
All right. We'd love to hear from you. You can always email us at 80showpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. All right. Next on the 80 Show podcast here, we're going to be talking about Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, Damien, waking up on a Saturday morning was always a lot of fun as a kid because you knew that you were going to spend the next several hours glued in front of the television watching some of the most, the greatest entertainment ever, right? With the Saturday morning cartoon.
I do remember waking up early as a kid.
Yes.
Before my mom and, again, single parents. And not to mention that, I just remember coming home from school and watching, the afternoon cartoons as well. So let's talk about both. Like Saturday morning cartoons when we're waking up early to watch those cartoons, like 6 a.m, like you're a maniac, or just like as a kid, like a latch, because we talked about this earlier. We're both latchkey kids, right? And so you're coming home at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon and watching some cartoons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your parents are like, who knows?
Yeah. So we kind of, there's different genres of cartoons and stuff like that. So, as far as like the superheroes and action legends go, you got cartoons like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I will say I was a big fan of He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man was great. So He-Man was very predictable. Every show was the same basically. And it was like a toy commercial. All it was just they wanted you to buy the toys, right? The He-Man toys.
And that was the whole point. And there was also, I think, a live action movie. I think was Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren. Yeah. Dolph Lundgren did a He-Man
We should
movie.
cover that at one point, but
yeah.
That's not the cartoon. So, they were trying to sell the toys, but the cartoons were really, really cool.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the He-Man. Just the power of Grayskull.
There was also Thundercats. I didn't really get into Thundercats. It just seemed cheesy, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I was a little bit too old for that.
Yeah, I don't think you're too old. I think maybe you're too young for that one.
For Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, because I was a little bit older than you, and I liked that one, but I also played the video games.
I watched a little bit of it, but the one that I definitely watched and definitely bought the toys was Transformers.
Oh, that was one of the best.
Yeah, robots in disguise.
We're from Cybertron, a planet far from Earth.
It's just awesome. And then, of course, the big action hero.
Let's talk about that.
Transformers, okay?
Yes, for a second. As mentioned, the toys were awesome. There was a movie franchise with Michael Bay that came out of that. And
true.
Those movies are really cool.
Yeah. I mean,
some of them. Okay, we'll say some of them are very
That's
cool.
fine. But Transformers was great, and I love the toys. Figured out how to make your car into a robot and stuff like that. And then, of course, I know one of your favorite cartoons was G.I. Joe, a real American hero.
Love G.I. Joe.
Yeah, so I mean, you're fighting Cobra, and they give public service announcements at the end of the show. I mean, who doesn't love a good PSA, Damien?
And I had a bunch of the toys too, like Cobra and G.I. Joe, like amazing. And there was a couple movies that came out that the movies are not great. The movies were not great, but I would say the toys and the cartoon were awesome.
I always thought it was fun. I always thought it was funny looking back at it when I was a little bit older that, it's basically about war, right? And nobody ever dies. They parachute out of the plane. Like there's no death in that show because it's a kid's show. So it's
war nobody dies.
Yeah. And then there were some like silly cartoons, the Smurfs. Did you ever watch the Smurfs, Damien?
Who did not love the Smurfs? What was your favorite Smurf?
Smurfette.
Oh, okay. She's the only female Smurf, which is creepy and crazy.
It is.
There's like a zillion male Smurfs.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
And like one female Smurf, right?
I do remember going through a phase in my life where I knew that like if I said a swear word, that I'd be in trouble. So I just did Smurf for everything. Oh, that's Smurfing awesome, or whatever. So thought I'd get away with that. Another one, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the TV show.
I did like that. I had actually, do you remember the LPs? Like, so we had back in the day in the 80s, we had actually records.
Yeah.
LPs, and not the 45s, but the full record. And for Christmas, I had the full Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas record, which was awesome. It was so cool. So I was also a big fan of the cartoon as well, but that was such a cool Christmas album. Everybody else has had that, but it was just so cool.
Another one that I know you said you didn't really like, but I remember watching Muppet Babies, which was just a cartoon of the Muppets as babies. It was fine.
I was just never a big fan of the Muppets in general.
How dare you?
Jim Henson was just never a big fan of that. I knew he's done some great stuff, but I was just not a big fan of the Muppets. I thought they were annoying. I never was interested. Oh my God. Except for the two guys in the balcony that were
Statler and Waldorf.
There's only two guys I liked in the entire Muppets thing.
I'm so
because they were critical of the entire Muppets show.
I'm so disappointed in you right now. I'll move on. So another one that came straight from the Sunday morning newspaper cartoons into like not live action, but cartoons. It's Garfield. Garfield, he ate lasagna and he hated Mondays. That's pretty much all you need to know about Garfield.
I'm a big fan of lasagna, so I did love Garfield.
There you go. And then we kind of look at like some of the sci-fi, fantasy type things. There was a show called Dungeons and Dragons, which I remember watching. Do you remember watching that one at all?
Yeah, so, it's based on a role-playing game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in the 80s, if you remember that, there was a controversy.
Oh.
So, I grew up in the church and Christians, and they thought that was satanic and of the devil. If you played Dungeons and Dragons, you would go to hell.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And of course, the famous or the very popular TV show Stranger Things is all about Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, that's how the kids meet and all that kind of stuff. So another one of my favorites, and I know this is one of your favorites, is Inspector Gadget. Now, funny fact about Inspector Gadget, I think I know 2 songs on the piano, and one of them is the theme to Inspector Gadget. Can you believe that?
Do you remember the live action show? Who played that?
The movie, right? It was Matthew Broderick, wasn't it?
Yes, live action one. But let's talk about the cartoon. Going back to that, I was a huge fan of Inspector Gadget. I think it was funny. I thought it was great. You know what the funny thing is? It seemed like, I think it was a spoof of the 60s, actually live action show, Get Smart.
Right, Get
which
Smart.
starred Don Adams.
Yep.
And I remember watching Get Smart as a kid, right? Again, it's a rerun in the 60s from the, I was watching in the 80s. And I was watching my dad, and my dad was a big fan of it. And I'm like, hey, Dad, what's the name of the show? He was like, Get Smart. I'm like, I am smart, Dad. What's the name of the show? He's like, Get Smart. I'm like, Dad.
Probably get mad at your dad.
I think I'm pretty smart. What's the name of the show? So he kept telling me that. I'm like, oh, eventually I realized the name of the TV show that
Get Smart.
was Get Smart. Yeah.
Good one. Good one. That's a good one. I like that. I think you're right. I think Inspector Gadget was a total spoof of Get Smart because he had all sorts of, gadgets and stuff like that in it. Now, another TV show that I remember watching was Voltron, which is basically there's 5 robot lions that make a gigantic robot, which when you think about it now, you're like, what? Is that true? Now, here's the thing, Damien. There is a movie in production right now, a live action Voltron movie in production right now, starring Henry Cavill, Sterling K. Brown, and some others for Voltron. So I don't know how they're going to do it because it was pretty cartoonish, but we'll see. Then we had a couple other, mentions. There was a cartoon version of the Ghostbusters called The Real Ghostbusters, which, there's just a money grab right there, right? I mean,
it's probably going to be like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. There was how many TV shows or movies that became cartoons? It was crazy.
Yeah. I do remember, and this isn't on there, it was Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling Show was a cartoon that was on for a while that I loved watching, of course. I remember Junkyard Dog was on that, and obviously Hulk Hogan and some of the other guys. And then, we had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
I was a big fan of that one. I did like that.
Yeah. And then, then, of course, we were talking about this earlier, that basically, like, a lot of the cartoons, especially like the weekday afternoon cartoons, Damien, like, we would come home from school and we would see old reruns of, like, the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, whether it's, like, the Flintstones or the Jetsons or Captain Caveman. Those were always on. I remember watching Tom and Jerry so much as a kid. Some of those like earlier, shows made in the 60s and 70s that were reruns in the 80s.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons were created in the 60s and 70s, but as kids in the 80s, we watched a lot of them, right? And so I texted a few of my friends just in preparation for this episode we're recording, and my cousin Amber and my buddy Sam and a few other people, like, they texted me back and like, dude, they love the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
The Flintstones, the Jetsons, like you talked about the Captain Caveman, Alvin and Chipmunks, the Electric Company.
Well, same like a lot of like, sitcoms, even like Brady Bunch was not in the 80s, but I remember watching it in the 80s, right? There's just, there was so much, so many 80s cartoons, so many cartoons in the 80s that I remember. And I think it's just because we were at that age where that's what we're watching, right? That's what we're entertained by. Popeye was another one I remember watching a bunch when I was a kid.
Which was a live action movie in the 80s too, but
Robin Williams. Right?
Exactly.
The little known fact about Popeye is, I don't know, someone was quoted as saying there was more cocaine on that set than any movie set they've ever been on.
I've heard that actually.
Popeye.
Yes.
So anyway, we know that we left some out. We just, there's just so many to cover here on the A Show podcast.
What I'd love to hear is from our listeners to hear what your favorite cartoons were. Like, there were so many great ones, even if they weren't created in the 80s. What you watched in the 80s, because we watched a lot of reruns in the 80s too. Yeah,
absolutely. So you can hit us up on the on all the socials, and you can email us at 80showpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you.
All right, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about a couple great movies from the 80s, and Bill's going to have his first watch.
Now, I'm going to watch the first time I've ever seen Footloose and Flashdance. I'm going to watch them both, give my review. And it's crazy that I have not seen either one of these movies, Damien.
I can't believe you've never seen either of those movies.
I know. And so then we're going to, next segment we're going to have on the 80s Show podcast is we're going to do a big deep dive on the 80s icon Pac-Man. Damien.
That's one of my favorite video games.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally we're going to wrap. I thought you unplugged that thing. Okay, Oldsmobile. Well, let's see. It's 2004. Okay, Damien, looks like Oldsmobile went out of business in 2004. They were a 107-year-old brand, and they are no longer in business, Damien.
So this is a bad trend. Our podcast sponsors keep going out of business.
Yeah, so,
So if you want to go out of business and sponsor our next 80 Show podcast.
We'll take all your money. That's right. We would love to hear from you. You can interact with us on Twitter, email, Facebook, all the socials. You can email us at 80showpodcast@gmail.com. You can also go to our website at 80s.show. And do us a favor. Tell your friends about us. You can rate us on all the podcast platforms. We'd love to get your feedback.
I'm Damien Philly, and knowing is half the battle.
And I'm Bill Lassiter. Snakes? Why did it have to be snakes?
Theme song composed by my good friend, fellow rock star, straight out of Bakersfield. You may also know him from the band Videodrone, Mark Russell Davis.